Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. So I want to do a review on Xplornet. It's an internet company in Canada that used to be satellite internet, but they now have LTE wireless available. So a lot of people say they're very bad, and I've been with them now coming up 3 years. So it hasn't been all great, but I'm going to give you an overview on how it's been. So 3 years ago, um, I was having issues with my DSL provider, which is the phone company, and they were basically the only game in town. It's either them or nothing. And to have DSL, you had to buy their phone, and no choice. So if you wanted internet, you had to pay for a phone. So I had this landline phone that I don't want, and it was costing me $40 a month. And if you use it, long distance is expensive, like it was in the old days, unless you buy a package. So it ended up being 70, a lot of money, and then $50 for the internet, and it was capped at 6 megabits per, six gigs down? See, I lose track of megabits, kilobits, all those bits. 6 megs down. It's capped. It wasn't always capped. It used to be 200, but they cut me off, and it was 6. So anyway, so I was pissed off with them since 8 years ago that they cut me off the fast speed. That, I paid top dollar for many years and got a very slow speed, and all of a sudden they can provide the fast speed, and they don't want to give it to me anymore. Anyway, so I called up Xplornet, and they use contracted subcontractors. They use their service people are other businessmen who contract, to do work for them. So anyway, so I called up I had this company. I had this appointment scheduled for them to come by and do a site survey to see if I can get it. And I booked the day, and I was here all day. And I have 2 dogs, and we live rural, so you can't drive down my road without me knowing about it, and you can't come on my property without me knowing about it, because the dogs bark. Right? So anyway, so they missed their appointment, and I kind of, what's going on? So I started looking out the window and listening, and then I went to my door, and I found this note stuck in the door. I'm going to show you the note. And the stuff written on the bottom of it, I just use it as a doodle pad. This note's a few years old now. We were unable to get a signal with WiMAX. So, this subcontractor didn't knock on the door and say, "Hi, I'm from Xplornet. I'm here to check your landscape for our product." They just drove by, stopped, walked in quietly without making the dogs bark, stuck the note in the door, and left. They didn't try anything. So anyway, so I called them. So I called up the Xplornet people. I said, "What the hell? They didn't do anything. The dogs would be barking if they climbed the tower, because I had a tower they were going to put it on." And anyway, so they came back and they put it up, and it worked. And except the only problem was that they only put it halfway up the tower. I have a 50-foot tower. They only put it up 20. And I said, "Well, I want it at the top, not halfway up." So they sent somebody else by this time, a different person, and he tells me the previous installer, it was a woman, is afraid to climb that high, so that's why she wouldn't put it up there. And he normally doesn't put them up either, in case she has to service it, because she won't climb that far up. I go, holy fuck, what are we dealing with here? So anyway, so he put it up top, and of course the signal improved. Right? So anyway, really bad install experience, and then there's constant problems with the service. With my DSL provider, they were 24/7, 365. They were always up. They were never down. Very rare in the 20 years that I had them. They were never down. And these guys are down every few months. equipment failing, network saturation, and the modem needs rebooting periodically. And you know, when I had DSL, I never ever rebooted the modem, never. Anyway, so I'm still with them, waiting for my Starlink dishy to come in. Ordered it last February. It's supposed to be any day now. And then I'm going to give them the boot. And I was, you know, I was just cleaning up my desk on the weekend, and I found this note, which reminded me about that. So the only good thing I'll say about Xplornet, when they couldn't fix a problem, like last summer when their network was saturated and they had to deploy more fiber, and it was going to be 3 months, they basically gave me internet for almost free for like 6 months. So I saved a lot of money by complaining to them. So it turned out pretty good. And there were times where it was good, times where it was bad. I don't know if I'd recommend it if you're lacking choices. Then thank God it's available, because I would have been stuck with a landline I didn't want and paying, you know, the same amount of money and getting 1/3 the speed, and have a landline that keeps ringing with people I don't know calling me to bother me. You know. Anyway, hats off to Xplornet for what they do. They're not perfect, but they're a lot better than Nexicom. That's for sure. Thanks everyone. Thanks for listening. Take care. Oh yes, one more thing. Sparky does not recommend Nexicom, phone or internet.